Yo, what's good, fam? Welcome to the Lifestyle Buffet. Shout out to all the LSB gang and all my supporters in this community. Today, I want to drop several tips that's going to help you to drastically improve your dating life and transform your dating life in 2025. And I'm even going to throw in a bonus tip on the end of the video that's really going to help you with your interactions with girls. So make sure that you watch all the way through the end to get that bonus tip. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to help me get this message out to as many fellas out there, because it's a lot of guys struggling, man. And I feel like it's everybody's birthright to be able to have your dream girl or a rotation of beautiful girls if that's what you want. So we're going to get right into it, man. The first thing I need y'all to understand in order to make a change is that you gotta face your fears, man. At some point this year, if something's gonna change this year, to the ones out there that have been struggling, something's gotta change, and you gotta face your fears, man. It's a lot of y'all that you can't get what you want. You can't get the relationships that you want. You can't get dates that you want because you don't put yourself out there. You got limiting beliefs, which causes you not to even approach girls. You don't say what it is you truly want. You don't say that shit with your chest, and it exudes in how you move and your energy. You gotta face your fucking fears if you're going to get a different result. And I get it, man. A lot of y'all have fear, anxiety, and you're afraid of getting rejected. I struggle with it too. I've struggled with it. It's something that any guy is going to deal with and you continuously deal with. But you gotta put the work in and take the actions if you're gonna build the confidence and the courage. Because it's not gonna stop. This shit is just like a muscle. You gotta continuously, day in, day out, consistently work at it, or it's gonna atrophy and it's gonna shrink. It's like a fire. You gotta feed the shit. If you don't feed the fire, then it's gonna fizzle out. So for you, you gotta look, and even if you gotta write that shit down, whatever the fuck it is that you're afraid of, get a notepad and write out, what the fuck am I afraid to do? What step am I afraid to take? Whether that's saying something to the girl that you see in the store or walking down the street or wherever you are, you gotta be able to at some point be like, you know what? This shit is uncomfortable. I'm acknowledging that this shit is uncomfortable, but I gotta do it. Like, what y'all have to understand is that you gotta get through the no's to get through the yeses. There's no other way in order for it to happen. There's no other way around it. You gotta go through the no's, going for the girls you want, and some of them are gonna be no's. A lot of them are gonna be no's. But what you gotta understand is all it takes is that one yes that has you on cloud nine. All it takes is one. And it won't just be one if you actually put yourself out there. So my whole point is you gotta go through those no's to get the yes that you really want. It just is what it is. You either take the uncomfortable actions, put yourself in a situation where you're uncomfortable, but it's gonna help you grow, or stay where the fuck you at right now and keep getting the same results you're getting. Your choice. So understand, this whole thing is gonna be uncomfortable. And that's the second thing that I need y'all to understand. It's a lot of y'all that have a fucked up mentality and an outlook on this process. This shit is a process and you gotta fix your timeline. A lot of y'all think this shit, you just supposed to do a couple of days or a week or a couple of weeks worth of effort, and you supposed to be him or that dude. And that's not how the fuck this thing works. You gotta put in the work over an extensive period of time. There's nobody in any field that became goated in whatever background or platform they're on without putting in a lot of time over a lot of years. That's what it is. You gotta be willing to do it, man. Getting good with having a great dating life where you can consistently pull attractive girls and get that really drop dead beautiful girl that's your dream girl It's a process. You gotta first be able to get to a point where you can approach these girls. A lot of y'all can't even do that shit. You gotta be able to get over the fears and approach the girls you want. Then you gotta be able to create a vibe and a spark and run a good interaction where the girl actually likes you, and then you go for a close where she would actually be willing to give you the number and agree to a date that she doesn't flake on. Because we've all been there. We've seen it. You can get a girl's number thinking everything's good, and when you go to text her or call her or try and set a date, you get ghosted, or it's all fickly and finicky. We've all been there. So at the end of the day, it's a process from approaching a girl to being able to create a vibe and create attraction, getting her to agree to a date, then learning how to run a good date where you set a vibe and a date. You really escalate the vibe, you escalate the tension and the interaction where she want to actually go back home with you at some point and you close. You know what I'm saying? Or for the guys that want a relationship, to be able to consistently keep the attraction going. All of this shit is a process, and it ain't gonna happen overnight. You gotta have a realistic timeline where, you know what? Every day I'm gonna work at this. Every day I'm gonna take actions, whether that's approaching 3 to 5 girls, and that's just an example. You know, I'm gonna try and go for at least 2 to 3 close attempts where I try and run a good interaction and get at least 2 or 3 numbers. It's all a numbers game, and I mean that literally. It's all a numbers game as far as getting leads and having multiple options. It's all a numbers game as far as the days. It's just reps. The more reps, the more time, the more approaches that you make, the better opportunities you're gonna have, the better you're gonna get, and then the more girls that you're gonna have to date. It's simple. So fix your timeline and your expectations on becoming somebody that has a great dating life, because it's gonna take time and it's a process. So all you need to do is just look at, how can I get better every single day? How can I get a little bit better every single day? And if you do that, that's essentially stacking a brick. And I promise you, if you stack a perfect brick every day, before long, you're gonna have a wall or a building. So that's what it is, man. Fix your timeline. So that's what you need to understand. And then the third thing I need y'all to understand is that having a great dating life, having confidence, having charisma, all of the qualities that you need in order to be a guy that a girl truly would want to fuck with, and a girl being a guy that a girl just would be oozing to fuck with, is built. That is something that you have to build. Confidence doesn't just happen. Charisma doesn't just happen. Being able to create a vibe and communicate with a girl well doesn't just happen. Having a great physique and a great physical appearance, that doesn't just happen. All of these things are built and things you gotta work at and you gotta put time into every single day. So understand that, and same thing like I said earlier, it's all about taking the actions every day. Every day you in the gym, you working on your physique and making yourself the best physical product that you can be. And then you working on your communication skills by having conversations with girls, beautiful girls, every single day. That's gonna build your confidence. It's gonna build your communication skills. You're gonna be better and more fluent with your reps, because with more reps, more fluency comes, and a lot of things will just come more natural for you. You know, being able to set closes and close girls is gonna be better because you built it over reps and doing it time after time. All of these things is just built, and it just comes down to, if you're gonna make the decision of putting the work in and just doing what you gotta do. We got work to do, man. Every last one of y'all can have the dating life that you want this year, 2025, but you gotta do the work. So, and the last thing I want to let you all know, that bonus tip that's gonna help you, I need y'all to understand, especially for the guys that struggle with approaching girls, building attraction and going for clothes, you have to look at it like cooking. All it is cooking. If you think about a cake or some type of dish that has multiple different ingredients, there's a certain amount of ingredients that goes in where you have to have all of these ingredients in order for the cake or whatever the dish is to come out right. And you got to have the right amount of the ingredients. You have not enough of the ingredients, and then the shit is going to come out fucked up. It's not going to work. You're going to have to toss it out. You have too little or too much of it, and that's what's going to happen. So what I need you to understand is your interactions with girls are the same way. When you go into an interaction with the girl you find attractive, you got to think and understand there's a few things you got to have. You have to have a good, confident approach, a good open, where you get her attention clearly and have a good vibe and a good energy when you approach her. You gotta be able to tease and be playful at some point in the interaction. You gotta have that in there in order to stimulate her and build attraction. You gotta give her a direct compliment about something you like about her or noticed about her, where she knows this shit is not platonic. You letting it be known what your interest is. Then you gotta ask a couple of interesting questions, have something interesting to say or an interesting question to ask where you can really have a good back and forth conversation. And then you gotta go for a close. All of these things you have to have, and there's a few more things, but those are the main ingredients that you have to have. You have too much playfulness or too much platonicness, you ask too many questions, because a lot of y'all go into interview mode and that's like throwing in too much salt. You gotta have the right amount of everything in order for the shit to work. Because a lot of y'all get into interactions where you may open the girl and initially it may be a good open, she may even like what she sees or think you're attractive, and you go into interview mode, you asking 50 million questions and the girl feels like she's in an interview. Or you may go into the approach and you may be talking to her and vibing and everything, and you give off a good vibe, but you never eventually let it be known that you find her attractive and express intent on what you think about her. And so there's never any polarity or any opportunity where you make it man to woman. You got some people where you do too much of the compliments and everything, and you just have a regular vibe, and then you get associated with the nice guy because you didn't fuck with her or tease her. And just, we all know that a girl likes a guy that has that edge. And you don't have to be a bad boy or fuck boy, but you gotta have that edge. That's why I say tease her and fuck with her a little bit. You gotta have that in there, you know? So understand, I'm not gonna ramble on. My whole point is that you gotta look at it like you baking a cake or creating a dish. You gotta make sure you have these ingredients in order for it to have a good interaction, where not only you'll be able to build attraction and close a phone number, but you'll be able to set a date where the girl is actually looking forward to hanging out with you because you've ran the interaction well where you built the attraction. So these are the things that you gotta do, and you gotta work at this shit every single day consistently in order to build it. That's all I got, man. I need y'all to understand that this year has the chance to be the year that you finally have the dating life that you wanted to have, be able to attract and pull the girl that you always wanted to date. But you gotta do your part. You gotta do the work. I promise, if you put the effort and attention and the actions in to being that guy, because all of y'all have a version of you that's already out there that can have the dating life that you want. But you gotta do the things today in order to align your life with that future version of yourself that you're trying to become. You gotta do the work. And it's all on you at the end of the day. So that's all what it is, man. And again, if this video brought any value to any of you all, man, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this to somebody that may need this, because I'm tired of seeing my guys, all my dogs out here that's struggling with dating. I've been there, man. Somebody that struggled with confidence, struggled with approach anxiety, struggled with going for closes, struggle with showing intent and being afraid of rejection. I've been there, done it all. I don't want to see nobody else struggle and suffer with this. You all have it. I promise you. Whatever dating life you want to have, whatever version of yourself you want to be, is already out there. You just got to close the distance by doing the things that version of you that you would want to be is doing, and you got to do that now. So understand, man, whatever it is you want out of your life, wherever you go and whatever you do, that's 100% on you. And you got this shit, fam. I promise you got this shit if you put the time in and you put the work in. So until next time, peace and love.